age of 17, a cousin of mine approached me and said that she had heard about the Army National Guard, and she wanted to go to it, but she didn't want to go by herself. And so I said, and? And she said, Pam, I want you to go with me. And I said, oh, well, I was working at that time as a nurse assistant. I had gotten training while I was in high school as a CNA. And so I was working as a nurse assistant, but I did not see that as a career. I saw it as a way of taking care of my son and I, and of course with the help of my family. So I said, okay, I guess I could try that. And in 1975, right after graduating from high school, I signed up. Believe it or not, I signed up for not only the Army National Guard, Arkansas Army National Guard, but I also signed up for the Air Force. So I said, whichever one comes first, call me first, that's which one, that's the way I'm going. We went to basic training. Something happened there. She started having medical issues. So she could not even complete basic training. So here I was, left alone after going in with my cousin, left alone to struggle by myself at the age of, I actually went to basic training. I got in at 17 in 1975, but I didn't go to basic training until I was 18 in 1976. So I ended up going there, of course, by myself. But it was all good. I had a lot of family support. I had 3 drill sergeants. I can only remember one name. It was Sergeant Griggs. I had 2 female drill sergeants and 1 male drill sergeant. And I'll never forget Drill Sergeant Griggs. She was one of the females. Very stern, but very fair. They were all very fair with us. I felt, because I'm like out of school. I'm young. I'm ready to be taught. I just had to adjust not to be able to have the freedom that I had prior to going to basic training. And at that time, there was separation between the males and the females. We were in the female barracks, but and there were males, but the males were straight all the way across the hill. You didn't know where the males were. So there were female barracks, and we were all in the barracks together. And then, of course, sometimes when you're marching along doing drill performances and all of that, then you see the males, out in the distance, but they kept us separated. And of course we had duties to perform, KP and all that stuff, and I did what I had to do. Bivouac at that time, you stayed out in the woods and you do the things they do out there in the woods and camp out in tents and learn to put tents together and use the bathroom out there, and all of that stuff was new to me, of course. So I learned a lot. This picture here is in 1976. This was my basic training picture. My hair was long, and see, at that time, or now, even now, you could not, and see, no one told me you had to have a certain width of hair, and your hair couldn't be on your shoulders and all of that. So here, my hair is actually pinned up so it wouldn't fall down on my collar here. But instead of me getting it cut, I could have pulled it back in a bob, but they taught me how to pin it up so it wouldn't fall. At that time in 1975, when I signed up, the restrictions were not like they are now. I could have a child and go off and still have that child in my custody, but now the restrictions are a lot different. The rules are a lot different now. You have to have someone actually take custody of your child in order to go off. And then, of course, I was a single parent as well. I guess thank God for that time that I went in. It was the perfect time. Someone told me, why don't you apply for a job, full-time job with the Arkansas Army National Guard? And I said, oh, you can work full-time for them? I had no idea. But I said, but I liked my job because I had so much freedom with the job that I was working for the county government. I love going out meeting people. And that's what I did with the emergency service people. But I said, okay. And so in 1983, or the latter part of 1982, I applied for a job out at Camp Robinson for the Arkansas, with the Arkansas Army National Guard. And the job was with Combined Support Maintenance Service, CSMS they called it. I applied for a job there. At that time, it was a position, a GS4 position. And also at that time, there was a discrimination suit going on at that time. Which, of course, I didn't know anything about it. But I applied for it. The job announcement actually said black hire only. And all of that was explained to me that because of this discrimination suit, they had to hire so many blacks to so many whites that had already been hired. I guess lucky for me. That I applied at that time. So I was hired. I actually was the second female in that department. Joyce Griffin. You remember Joyce Griffin? Joyce Griffin was the first female at CSMS. And because we were all males down there, maintenance shop, there was a maintenance shop, they didn't have the provisions set up for female employees. When I got in, of course, you have a tendency to see more females in the medical field. So yes, I saw a few, of course, on the medical side since I was working medical and dental. There was a young lady there by the name of Peggy Roby. Mm-hmm. Peggy Roby actually was one of the young ladies that inspired me to become an officer. We talked about becoming an officer, and so we had to discuss which route we were going to go, whether we were going to go field grade officer or warrant officer. I felt like it would be better for me to become a warrant officer because as a warrant officer, I felt like I had both sides. I was like split in between. I had both sides of the world, the enlisted side and the officer side, and I did not become a warrant officer though until I became a sergeant first class. I went to the 39th Infantry Brigade. Yes, I did. Because that's when I really got to see the field duty and the ticks and all of that stuff that comes along with being in the field. It was truly an experience. I would say I had an opportunity to learn just what it means to work as a team too. You know, even though I saw it going through basic training in AIT, but when you're out there in the field and you're having to learn to work together on the infantry side of the house and covering each other's back on the infantry side of the house, you have to work as a team. You have to support each other, and that's just part of it. And that has been a tool that I've used throughout my career. There was an NCO Academy, and I worked on drill weekend as an instructor. Actually, I was the first black female NCO instructor at the NCO Academy.
What did you instruct?
BNOC, ANOC, basic non-commissioned officer training, advanced non-commissioned officer training, primary leadership, PLDC. One of the first female instructors there was Deborah Jean Collins. I mean, who, you know, I think everyone knew her.
The first female
first female state command sergeant major, yes. And she was the first female instructor, NCO instructor as well. They call her Iron Bridges.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they did. But up under her tutelage. We worked well together, and I enjoyed teaching. And I learned as well. I'll never forget this. Of course, I was still green. I didn't start becoming yellow, let's just say, until I became a sergeant first class. So during that time, I would go out in the field and I would help the students, and I would stay out there in the field with them. Well, I believe in comfort. So I decided that since I'm going to be comfortable and I've got to teach these students, I'm going to make sure I sleep comfortably. So I brought my pink pillow. Yes, I did. I brought my pink pillow. I would never live that down. At graduation of one of the classes, they presented me with a camouflage pillowcase. I was in the process of going through and taking my training warrant officer candidate, going through warrant officer candidate school at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, which they no longer train walks at Fort McCoy. All of the training is done at Fort Rucker, Alabama. But I was in the last training, warrant officer training course at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin. Truly an experience. You're talking about basic training all over again. All over again. And of course, never been there. You're running in the sand. You're talking about somebody in shape. I was so in shape. I mean, I really, it was good. It was good. This was training with making sure you had your T's crossed, your I's dotted, white glove inspections. Very thorough. It was good. It was a good experience. I will admit, I was not prepared to start basic training all over again. So let's just say in the first couple of days I cried. Because I couldn't believe it. Here I am. I'm going to become an officer. I've gone through all of this, and I've gone from the NCO and all of this, and they're going to treat me like a basic trainee all over again. It hurt my feelings. It just hurt my feelings, but that's okay. I got through that too. I felt like that I could encourage NCOs, whether they were senior NCOs or not, coming up. I would sit down and talk to them about where do they want to be. Is this a career, or is this just a stopping point or a place to go to go somewhere else? I would sit down and talk to NCOs about what they wanted to do and to think about becoming an officer. And when you think about becoming an officer, look at both sides of the road and get a clear understanding of what it is to be one or the other. Or maybe you want to go to the top of the ladder as an NCO. In the 119th Personnel Service Company, after I was there for a few months, we found out that we were going to be mobilized. And there was a possibility that we would be deployed to Iraq. And so we had to be prepared, we had to get ready, and of course everything was hush-hush. You don't say a whole lot because you don't know what you don't know, because they're only telling you a limited amount of information. So all I know was that I needed to prepare. But when I told my son that I was being deployed, he was in the junior high school, like Oak Grove. He was going to Oak Grove Junior High School. Getting ready to go to high school, preparing to go to high school, Central High School. But he was very upset because of all the, of course, you know, people talking, you're going over there and you hear all the news and all the reports. And concerned. The family was concerned, so I tried to put their mind at ease, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma for a while, so, you know, before I'm deployed, you know, you can come and visit me. So we talked it all out, so I tried to put everyone at ease. Mobilization station, you do everything from A to Z. So we held the briefings to inform them on what to prepare for, what they're going to do when they go over, you know, the security briefings and all of that. And that was for the colonels to the privates. Everyone had to be in on the briefings. No one was exempt from the briefings. And it was good. It was good. And since I did not go out, I was in country, mobilized in country, I was able to, I ended up getting an apartment. And my family was able to come and visit me while I was there. I believe that along my career path as a warrant officer, I have assisted in helping develop some good warrant officers, but I've also assisted in helping to develop some strong NCOs. But one of the things that I've learned throughout my career is that, and I told this to individuals during my retirement, you treat people like you expect, like you want to be treated. Do unto others as you expect others to do up unto you. And that was one of the specific things I stated at my retirement. Just give people respect and treat people like you want to be treated. And you go so far, you know, even if it's not reciprocated. And so many times it's not. But yet and still, it's in you. It's not about them, it's about you.